Hi. Hi everyone. Welcome to day one. I'm just waiting to see if this live's working okay and people can hear me. If you're on with me, pop a comment in. Great to see you, hear from you. Hi. Just had someone join. I'll give everybody a few minutes to get on and get ready. And if you've joined, just pop a hello in the comments and then I can see who's there. Be good to hear from you all. And welcome to day one. Find your inner magic. Hi Oswald. Nice to see you. Hi Dawn. Oh, they're all coming through. Hi Mandy. Yay. Oh, it's working. Hi Denise. Yes, fantastic. So whilst we're just waiting for more people to join, if you want to just pop in a comment about what you're thinking you want to get out of this week, what you want to achieve by joining the challenge, just anything at all, what you're thinking you're going to get out of this week, just pop it in the comments. And the more interactive we can be, the better. It's going to be good. So I'm just going to double check we haven't got any late entries to the group. And if you just pop in the comments what you kind of want to get out of this week, it could be anything. Could be tapping more into your intuition, whatever you think. And then just anybody who hasn't, just say hi. And I'm just checking there isn't any last minute members, and then we will get started, which is exciting. Right, so the comments have stopped coming through, so oh no, they aren't. Hi Laura, hi Karen, hi Kath, Brill. Right, just before we dive into everything, I just want to get you all to take a bit of a second. Hi Alison. Just take a couple of seconds, close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And we're just going to set the intention that what you're going to get out of tonight is exactly what you need to hear. So if you just take a deep breath in and release, and just let go of any stresses that you're feeling from today. And anything that's been bothering you, just let go of that, because this next hour is just for you to get something out of it for yourself. And take another deep breath in. And then when you're ready, just open your eyes and we'll get started. So I've got, before we start, I did pull a card tonight, and again, it's really spooky one with what we're going to be covering. So tonight we've got can you see that? Clear out the old. Now, I'll go into what we're going to be talking about more, but I've said tonight's lesson is kind of about accepting where you are on the journey. So clearing out the old is going to be what we'll do later with the meditation. But it's just a really apt card telling us that it's time to let go of the old and embrace the new. And this is saying the person in the card is all about their intuition. She's got no sight because it's all about listening to her intuition, listening to her guides, listening to what she knows deep in her heart and moving forward from there. So that is ultimately what we're going to be trying to do, which is amazing. I know Laura is a good one, isn't it? I couldn't believe it when it pulled out. They do scare me how accurate they are, but they're brilliant. So what I want you to do is have a little think about what intention you would like to get out of this week. So thinking about an intention is how you want to feel. Now, for me personally, I set intentions more than goals, because when I think of goals, I think of things that are, like a goal could be I want to earn £10,000 or I want to lose a stone or something like that. And what you find when you achieve a goal, you often haven't figured out what you want to feel when you get there. So you could maybe lose a stone and still feel like you do at the minute. But what you do when you set an intention is you set the feeling. So what do you want to feel when you get there? So just have a little think about, what do you want to feel by the end of this week? If you do all 5 challenges, or even if you just do today's challenge, what do you want to feel? What do you want to get out of it? Do you want to feel more confident? Do you want to feel happier? Do you want to feel less anxious? You can pop it in the comments if you feel comfortable, but just take a second and maybe write it down, what you want to feel by the end of the week. And then we'll maybe revisit it after this session, because we'll dig into a bit more stuff today. So just have a little think about what you want to get out of it, what you want to feel. If anybody wants to put it in the comments, feel free. And if not, we'll move on. So tonight we're talking about the journey that we've all been on, and half the battle that we often have is accepting where we are on the journey. So tonight we're going to be thinking about how it affects us, because thanks Oswald. So Oswald wants to feel less anxious and more calm. Laura wants to feel inspired. Hopefully I will. If anybody else wants to pop some comments in, that's great. Just keep the questions flowing as well. If you have any questions, just pop a comment in and I'll try and answer them. And just when they pick up, I think there's a little bit of a delay on it, but I'll keep going back. So often when we think about the journey and we think about where we are, we get a little bit stuck. So we can be thinking about the past all the time, and often the past can make us feel stuck in a way. So when you think about when you think about your past, what is that thing that's holding you back? Because often we get to a point where we're too afraid to move forward in case something like the past happens again. And I don't know whether any of you can relate to this. Please pop it in the comments if you do. But there can be often things along our journey that we've encountered and we've felt like a bit of trauma, and things building up. We could have had stress, we could have had things that have made us anxious, and we get to a point where we're sometimes worried about moving forward because we're scared it's gonna happen again. So can anybody relate to that? Do they ever feel that the past is going to reoccur, or we're going to, that whole situation might happen again, or you're worried because you were made to feel small and you don't want that feeling again, so we end up stuck in this cycle? Val said, started short walks after. Oh, that's good, Val. Hope you get better soon with that. So yeah, thinking about where you are, because the past can have a big impact on us. Not only can we get stuck in them emotions that we felt and the thing that has made us stuck in one place, but we can also let it define our future. So when we think of the future, we can often think, well, I can't do that because I've never done it before, or I can't do that because it didn't work last time I tried it. So often we get stuck in this pattern of not, again, moving forward because we're scared of the thing that either didn't work or we've never had it before, so it's not tangible to do. So Oswald's put very shortly, right, so that feeling of things feeling good and then that feeling that it goes very quickly, that can also cause us to keep stuck. And yeah, that's a good one, Oswald. It definitely does. So I just want to go through that, because we put these limitations on ourselves that either we feel nervous about the future because of the past happening again, or we feel that we've never had something before, so we don't want to move forward and try it because we've never had it. So how would we know that we can get it now? And we always have that fear of failure, that fear of, well, I can't do this because I'm not going to be perfect at it. Well, that's a constant battle for people. We always strive for this perfectionism, and as an adult we're often too scared to put ourselves forward because we're not going to be perfect first time. And actually you know, when did that kick in for any of us? You know, as a kid, you're going to try things all the time and you're never going to be perfect. But they keep trying and they keep trying. But it suddenly gets to when we're an adult and it's like, whoa, no, you've got to be perfect or else, you know, you can't try. And we just do this all the time to ourselves. So there's things like you feel like you can't do something, and then other things people say that gets them stuck is they say, I am a worrier, and they define themselves as being a worrier. Now, who can relate to this one? I bet we've got a few in the group who can relate to this. And actually, people define themselves, label themselves, tell themselves, I am a worrier. Now, saying I am anything is a powerful thing, but saying I am a worrier is defining that going forward, you're going to be a worrier as well. And also, we can have that I am not good enough. Our past can have made us feel I am not good enough. And I know I had that like throughout my whole life. And even now, you know, it crops up every now and again, and I've got to kind of think of that belief and change it round. And especially doing things like this, you know, you're crippled by thinking, oh my God, am I going to know what to say? I'm not going to be good enough. And stuff like that comes up all the time. But we've got to think about, do we want to be stuck? Do we want to keep these labels? Do we want to keep in this way of thinking? And we decide things based on past events, and these always limit us. So have you ever heard the quote that you're one decision away from changing your life? Now, for me, I used to hear this quote all the time, and I used to think, are you bonkers? One decision from changing my life. My life was a bit of a shit show, you know, one decision from changing that. I don't think so. And I used to seriously hear this all the time and be like, really? One decision? No way. Come on, there's going to take a lot to turn my life around. And is anybody with me on this? Do you feel the same at the minute? Because it does feel impossible. But the thing is, it took one decision to turn my life around. And I'm not joking on this, and I would not lie to you, because I was in that place where I was thinking, no, this is crazy, you couldn't do that. And it wasn't when I heard the quote that it actually come to life. But now thinking back, and when I was writing kind of my notes for tonight, I thought, wow, you know, that has actually happened to me. And it's when you decide to take control back. So when we're putting all these efforts into all these beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm a worrier, you know, I'm not this, I'm not that, whatever it is for you, we give that control and we give that saying, because that's what it is, it's a saying, we give it power over us. And there was certain things that changed my thinking, and I'll go through them with you so that you're not blind to it. But just bear with me, because we can claim our power back, and we can decide that in an instant. And that is your decision to change your life going forward and to stop this recurring pattern that we've been talking about with keeping in this stuck environment. So I was doing a bit of, I was getting into a bit of meditation and things like that. And I seemed to be not opening up spiritually loads, but a little bit. So I was moving forward. But what I was finding was different things were, you know, popping up everywhere. People would talk about something, and then someone else would mention the same thing, and someone else would mention the same thing. And it's like you get these strange coincidences, or you think the coincidences at the time. But for me, it was all about The Secret. The Secret. Has anybody heard The Secret? Have you? You know, people were just talking to me constantly about The Secret. And I was like, oh, okay, I get the point. I'll go and watch The Secret, because I didn't have the book then. And I haven't actually read the book. I've just watched the Netflix thing. So I went on and I watched The Secret one night. And just to give you a bit of a background, before I did this, I was in a relationship with my husband. We were, you know, I wouldn't say like really, really unhappy, but just not together, not really in synergy. Things were not great, but I felt like I'd made this decision to, marry him, and we'd been together nearly 12 years. So at that point you feel pretty stuck to this relationship. You just think it's an up and down phase, it'll get better. You're always in that mindset. I was also in a job I wasn't enjoying. I had a boss I didn't get on with. I felt quite trapped in that. I felt like this is the best money I've ever made, so who am I to want any better? I'm not going to be able to do any better than this. This is good money. I should be grateful. That was where I was at. And I just felt like I was giving all the time. So family, people around me, I felt like I would give all the time. I would give them my time. I would give them my energy. And I just didn't really get a lot back. I felt like I was a bit of a closed book, so I maybe didn't ask for help, which I'm not very good at. But being an energy healer, you tend to not be. And I often just give and give and give, and there was no one really there supporting me, even though I was married, and I felt like that. So I felt in this situation, I didn't feel like life had a lot of joy. I just felt very, I say this all the time, but I felt very vanilla. It was just a bit dull. Nothing horribly wrong. There was no trauma. There was nothing majorly going on. And even though we'd had trauma in the past with like my husband losing his job or had ill health and things like that, everything seemed to be on the up from that point of view, but I still didn't feel comfortable because, again, I was always anxious that them things from the past, so his ill health or losing his job, was always going to reoccur. And it just kept me stuck in this cycle of actually being a little bit fearful for the future because I didn't see it getting any better. So I don't know if anybody's been in that situation or can feel like that and relate to that, because even though it wasn't horrific and I wouldn't say I was unhappy, there was some good things in my life, I just wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't waking up each day thinking, wow, this is going to be amazing. It was just a bit flat, and I felt flat a lot of the time. And looking back now, you don't realise how flat you get and how low you get, and really how close to breaking point you probably were. But when you're in it, it just feels a bit numb. So that was where I was. And everybody was talking about The Secret, so I thought, right, one night, got myself a glass of wine, I am going to watch The Secret. I'm going to give in and see what all this fuss is about. Now, I don't know whether any of you have seen it or heard about it, but I talk about law of attraction all of the time. And that's pretty much what it's about. It's about all these people who's applied law of attraction to their life and how it's changed. And I woke up the next day, not even the next day, but after watching that film, I was like, wow, what have I been doing? I literally changed the way I thought about everything in a night. Now, The Secret didn't tell me how to fully apply the law of attraction. I had to go and learn that for myself, and that's great because now I can share it all with you. But what it did do was change my perspective on things. So where I felt stuck and I felt flat and I felt like there was no way out, it gave me all my control back, because it made me think, I can change all of this. From today, I can change this. And it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. That's for me to sort out and sort how I feel about that. But going forward, I can make a change. I can change absolutely everything in my life if I want to. And it just gave me that feeling of power back. And overnight, I went from thinking, why am I worrying about this job when I don't really need to have this job? I could have any job. I could do whatever I wanted. And why am I worrying about this relationship when I'm creating that situation? I'll go into that in a bit more detail. But I'm glad you finally watched it, Laura. Oh, Val. I'm very open, and I will be very open with you because I want you to hear exactly what it took for me to change things around. And what I will say is, I'm not saying for anybody that you have to get to the point where I did and the things that you have to change, but you can still change things for the better. And I think, yeah, Oswald, that's exactly right. Life was stuck on autopilot, and I was at that point. So what I will say is definitely watch The Secret if you haven't, but it doesn't give you absolutely everything you need to know. But that's okay, because I can fill in the gaps, other people can fill in the gaps, and you can pick it all up very quick. But obviously, the law of attraction is what changed things for me, and that's what I adopt all of the time. So what I did was, even though all these things were still in place, I woke up the next morning, I was still the same person. I was still in the same situation. And sometimes we get annoyed by that, especially when we want to change things. We can be annoyed by the point of where we are. We can think that we're maybe not far enough on, or we should have done things different, or we should be in a better space. And actually, we just need to accept where we are. So wherever any of you are now on your journey is exactly where you need to be. And everything that you've done up to this point has got you to where you are now, which is exactly where you need to be. And even if it takes that you've got to this point and now you're listening to me and think I want to make a change, that's fine. It doesn't mean that everything else before was a waste of time. And I think that's a big thing to take into account, because you've got this choice now. So I woke up that next morning and I was in the same situation. I was still going to the same job. I was still going, me and my husband were still in the same place. It wasn't like he'd watched The Secret and then magically was a different person as well. It just was the same. But what had happened was I decided and I thought about what I could do based on my desires. Now, at that point, I don't even know where my desires came from. So the best I could think of before watching this, I used to think, well, I could maybe get a promotion at work, or I could maybe get a different job, or, we'll end up having kids. That's where I see my life going. And it was very normal and very just in this box of where you go as, where we get told is your next step, basically. And for some reason, I woke up and I was thinking, I want to help people on a huge scale, on a massive, massive scale. Now, I don't even know now where that desire come from. Well, other than my inner soul, my inner guidance talking to me. But it was so random. It was something I'd never thought of doing before. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know I was going to be a life coach. All I knew was I wanted to help people on a huge scale, like lots and lots of people. That was all I knew. And I started to think about this, and I started to, think about how it can happen. And that was the first insight that I'd ever had, really, of having my inner wisdom coming out, because this was a dream that I just had never thought of. So this is what it can open up for you, just getting to this point where you can start to hear what you want underneath. And it might be something completely different to what you've ever imagined for yourself, but it's more true to where you want to go. So I had this dream in my head and I didn't have a clue where it was going to go, but it's been huge ever since and I've kept to it. But the biggest thing I did have to do was accept where I was and what had happened before. So I used to, before watching this and up until a certain point, I used to think, well, I'll be happy when this happens, or I would love it if my husband would do this, or I would love it if he'd do that. And I had to reevaluate all them things I was doing, because when I was doing that, I was giving everything else out, like giving my power to everyone else. So when you think, I'll be happy when he does this, well, what if he never does that? How are you going to be happy? And what if thinking, I'll be happy when I get this money? What if that doesn't come in? Because what you're saying is, I will be happy then, when. And what you've got to do is claim your power back. So the things that was happening in my marriage, for instance, yes, we got into bad patterns of behaviour, but we'd done that because one, he was doing it, and two, I was accepting it. So I was accepting this choice that I would accept that level of behaviour. And then with the feeling at work, I was accepting that that was all there was for me. I wasn't putting myself first. I wasn't putting myself out there. I was just feeling like, well, this is what there is. So I was accepting that. And that was my choice. And that was what I was creating. And then with everybody around me, where I was giving, again, it was me putting everybody else before me. So I was, again, choosing to do that. It was me giving everyone else my power, giving everybody else control over how I felt. And I had to draw a line and say, I am the one that has to be happy here. And I choose what I decide. And I choose what I have control over. And that's where you have to draw the line. So think about your own life and think about, what is it from your past, or what is this recurring thing that keeps you feeling stuck and feeling like you can't move on? And what is it you want to let go of? So maybe just write these questions down. So what is it that's keeping you feeling stuck? What is it you feel you need to let go of? What do you need to take control of? So what situations are you giving out your power? And just have a think, because when we're choosing, when we're accepting a behaviour, or we're accepting a way somebody is, or we're accepting that we're just stuck in something, that's us choosing that. So what is it that you need to pull your control back from and not choose that anymore? And think about the feeling that goes with that. So is the things that are keeping you stuck, are they making you feel unconfident? Are they making you feel not good enough? What is it linking to your emotions with that one? Now, when we think about them things in the past, what we've got to look at is ultimately they're in the past. So we cannot change anything. There's nothing you can do or say to alter any aspect of what's happened in the past. You can't take away any of the pain that you felt. You can't take away the belief that you created along the way. You can't do that from where you felt it. You can't change what you did or what others did. So whatever you've got going on from your past that keeps you haunted, keeps you stuck, keeps you feeling small, now's the day to draw a line, because there's nothing from that past that you can actually change. What you can change is how you choose to move forward from today. So if that's been haunting you forever, then you can draw a line today and say, it's not going to haunt me anymore. And we're going to do a bit of a healing on things like that. But today is the day that you can make that decision to change your life. And that's how big this is. Like, you can make that decision today to change your life going forward. But what you can't do is you can't change anything from the past. So one thing I would say is we have to accept it. We have to get to the point where we're not saying it's okay if things happen to you that weren't right. We're not saying it's okay. But what we're saying is, I accept that I can't change any of it. But what else you can say is that it's not going to define me in my future. I'm not going to be kept a victim of circumstance. And you can make that decision now. So that was a lot of information fed at you. Put in the comments how you're feeling about that. Did it resonate? Has it blown your mind to the point where you're like, I don't know what she's talking about? Like, just pop some comments in and let me know what you're thinking on, or if you've got any questions, or there's anything you want clarification on, just please pop it in the comments and we'll see what people are saying. And what I would say is the decisions you can make going forward is that your past is not going to define you. It's not going to define your future. You can also decide that you and your future is more important than anything that's happened. And you can also say that you're just not going to be a victim to your circumstances anymore. So they're 3 powerful sayings that if you adopt, you can make big changes. And I think we've all been caught up in being a victim of things that have happened to us in the past. I know I definitely have. And often, once you let go of that and you claiming all this power back, it's like so powerful to think, I decide that. I decide whether I'm the victim. I decide whether this is going to continue to torment me. Oh, Mandy, I'm glad it's resonating with you. Anybody else? If everybody else okay? Oh, Dawn, I'm glad that worked. It's quite a heavy subject, but what I wanted to do was run through this today about where we are in the journey, because what I found as well, and what I find with a lot of the clients that I work with and people who come across the law of attraction, they go into a bit of a downward spiral. Once they hear that what you feel and what you think you're actually manifesting into your life and creating that reality, people can get a little bit stressed out by the thought of, oh my God, I've created this world, I'm not happy, and this is all my fault. And it can feel really heavy, and people can get worried about their emotions, they can get worried about negative thinking, and it's not about that at all. We're all human, we're all going to have negative thinking, we're all going to have bad days. That is natural. So I really wanted to cover this off in the first day, because it is a subject that trips a lot of people up. They always go into a dwelling about the past, and often the past is the best thing that could have happened to you, because whatever the past has done, it's given you so many lessons to move into the future. So whatever you feel like you didn't like and you want to change, now you've got that in your bag to say, well, I'm not going to let that happen again. So this is me controlling that situation, and that isn't going to happen to me again, because I know I don't like it, or I know I didn't like that job, so I won't do that one again. I'll do something different. And it gives you all these lessons that we take for granted sometimes, because we're so hung up in the thing that happened. But the lessons are the important bit, and they've got you to the point where you are now, which is you've got all this knowledge on what you do and don't like. And also you've got all this wisdom in you, and now you can move forward with extra stuff that you're going to learn. And it's like that saying off Alice in Wonderland, there's no point in going back to yesterday, because I was a different person then. And everybody after this week there'll be no going back to yesterday, because you'll have this knowledge that's going to change you going forward. And even if you take snippets out of this week, you're going to have so much that you can use. Yeah, Oswald, I agree. The past does make you a stronger person, and we've got to get to the point where we just accept that it happened, accept that that's what it is, but it doesn't have to define your future. So just because you haven't had something in your past, or you haven't done something in your past, doesn't mean you can't do it in the future. And I'm a clear, advocate of that this year. I did not think at the beginning of the year I would be doing anything like this. I didn't think I would have a podcast. I didn't think I'd have a Facebook group with all you amazing people in it. I just didn't know any of this stuff was coming. But life has a weird way of getting you into the right place with the right people and doing the right things. And I think when you go into that leap of faith that you're ready for it and you're going to make that change, and you've got your big dream, which I still got that big dream. I want to help people on a big scale. And that is my ultimate intention. That's my vision. That's my big thing. And I've always said I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to do it. And it's happening. And I love it. and it's going to get bigger and bigger, and I know that because I keep dreaming it and I keep dreaming it. And what you can dream and what you can see, you can make reality. So just, if anybody's watching this, and I know a lot of people will know me from years ago, Mandy, we've worked together, Val, we've worked together, Laura, you started the journey with me in January, and so did Oswald. Dawn, you've known me for years, since I was married to Carl. The change is incredible, so I'm not an unusual person. I wasn't born with magic gifts. I haven't had spiritual things all my life or anything like that. I have just set my intention and I've set my visualization that this is what's happening, and it's starting to come, and I'm starting to believe it. And that's the big difference. So now we've thought about the past, and hopefully I've not depressed you all. What I want to do is go into a guided meditation. And with this, I want to take you through kind of releasing any of that baggage so that we just carry the good lessons. So you're going to feel good afterwards. It's going to be a really invigorating one. But before we go into that, I just want to do a very quick visualization on how you receive your messages. So you're not going to get, you might get messages coming through, but what people get hung up with in guided meditations is thinking, well, I can't see what you're saying, or it doesn't come through for me like that. So what you've got to do is think about, how do you get information? So do you prefer somebody talking to you, reading something out, or do you prefer reading a book? That type of thing. Do you prefer to hear the information, or do you prefer it written down? Do you just, when somebody does a guided meditation, do you just know it's there? Do you just sense that the colour's there, the thing that they're saying's there, or do you actually visually see it? There's so many different ways, and it just depends on who you are as a person and what your natural ability is in that sense. So what I want to do, I just want to take us into a little bit of a meditation. I'm going to get you to imagine there's a white light. Now, when I do this, if you just see black, that's fine. If you just feel like something's there but you can't really see it, then that's fine. If you actually see the thing, then that's fine as well. Everything is this is just a quick test to see how you visualize things, so that you don't stress out when we do the meditation and think, well, I'm not seeing it, or it's not right, because we're all very different and we all get things in a different way. So if you just want to close your eyes and take a deep breath in, and then release. And then another deep breath in and release. And I just want you to imagine there's a white light just above the crown of your head. Now, just imagine it's there. And imagine the white lights going from the crown of your head down into your third eye, just at your brow point. And then as you take another deep breath in, it just moves into your throat. And then one more deep breath. And you can feel it move down into your chest, into your heart center. And just take some deep breaths. Breathe in this white light into your body. Feel its energy. Just breathe all that goodness in. And just take notice of how you're seeing that white light, whether it's a ball of light that you see, whether you can just feel the energy of it, or whether you just know it's there. Just take one more deep breath in and then release. And then if you just open your eyes and just pop in the comments whether you felt anything from that, whether you could feel it, see it, what came up for you. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just so that you can understand how you get the information. Did you all feel something? I think there's a little bit of a delay on the comments. I'll just give you a second and then you can feel it, Laura. Good. What I get is I get a knowing that it's there, and that used to trip me up all of the time. Yeah, Mandy, that's a bit like I get. It's like a knowing it's there and I can kind of feel the energy, and that's a really nice feeling. Oh, brilliant, Kath, you can see it. That's great. And feel it. Yeah, a white beam through my body. Nice. That's good. So all you've got to do is just think about what comes up for you. So whatever you see when I'm saying a meditation, so if I say we're going to walk through a wood and you see you walking through a meadow, that's fine. Whatever is right for you. As well, it's however you feel it. So you might just know it's there. So like I was saying, I just get a knowing, and then I think my brain catches up with the visualization. So it's like I know it's there, so then my brain like fills it with, right, let's see it now. But it took a long time for that to happen. So I would just get a knowing. I never really got the visuals until this last maybe 18 months, and now they come through quite strong. Oswald, it's a straight line. Once stepped into it, everything was less chaotic. Oh, that's good. And this with the white light is an instant anxiety healer. So whenever you're feeling stressed, you can imagine that white light coming down, and it can go right into the ground and right through the earth. And what that does, it just instantly grounds you and aligns your energy. So if you're ever feeling stressed or overwhelmed or anything like that, you can just imagine this coming into your body. You can breathe it through your heart if that makes you feel better. And you will get this instant calmness. And what you're doing with that is you're just getting source energy coming through your body. There's nothing that would, all it would give you is loving white light. And it just goes into the ground, and that gives you a really grounding meditation. And you can do it in 30 seconds if you're feeling stressed, but it'll make you feel better instantly. So that's a little nugget if you're ever feeling overwhelmed. Right, so we'll go into this meditation. So if you just close your eyes and get comfortable, sit however you like, feet on the floor or feet up, just whatever's good for you. And if you just take a nice deep breath in and release, then another deep breath in and release. And then if you imagine the white light again coming above your crown chakra, so it's coming from above, moving down into your body, into your throat. And as it's moving down, it's just clearing anything that doesn't need to be there. And if you let it move down into your heart center, which is right in the middle of your chest, and then it carries on down and it goes through all of your chakras, third, second, and root. And as it moves down, it clears all of your chakras with this white golden light. And it starts to fill the rest of your body. So the energy moves down each of your arms, right to your fingers. And then it moves down your torso and into your hips. You can just breathe all this good energy in. And then it moves down each of your legs to your knees, and then to your ankles, and right to your toes. Just breathe that in for a second. And then just imagine there's roots coming out of your feet and into the ground. And they start to dig deep into the earth, past all the rocks, pushing through all the mud and the earth. And it's going deeper and deeper. You can feel all that earth energy. And these roots are just going deeper and deeper until you come to the earth's core. And you see this gorgeous gassy ball of blues and greens all swirling round. And you just wrap your roots around the earth's core. And you feel all that energy surging back up them and into your body. You can feel that energy mixing with that white light, and it's just bringing you calm, peaceful feelings. You feel completely protected, completely safe. And just breathe all of that in. And then if you imagine you're at the start of a path that leads into a woods, and you start walking into the woods, the sun's shining, the birds are singing. You start walking. You might see some animals. You might hear the birds. And as you follow the path, just bringing your guides and your angels in with you. They're just going to help you. And what they're bringing you is a backpack. And you put the backpack on, you wrap the tie around your waist, and you start to walk again. And as you're walking, you notice you're at the foot of a mountain. And you start walking up. Just notice what you see, what you hear. And as you walk, the backpack's getting heavier and heavier. It's like it's getting filled with more things. But you can keep going. You're strong enough. And you keep walking up this mountain. And again, the backpack just keeps getting heavier and heavier. You can feel the pressure on your back, but it doesn't stop you walking. And you keep going up this mountain. And then you start to come to a clearing. And it's a gorgeous meadow full of different coloured flowers. Just notice what colours you see. And you notice there's a cliff edge with a gorgeous view. And you put the backpack down feels so much relief from putting that backpack down. It was so heavy by the end. It would just get heavier and heavier. When you put the backpack down, you notice that it's bursting at the seams. You start to empty it out into the gorgeous field. And as you empty it, there's things from your past all spilling out. Just notice what's coming out of the bag. And what you do, you take notice of everything. You notice how it makes you feel. You notice the things that you can see. And you just look at it all on the ground. And in all the things that's there, you start to see some sparkly bits. And as you pick them up, there's sparkly crystals that you start to put back in the bag. And each crystal just has a little lesson from the things that are out on the floor. So each crystal will have a different meaning for you. And once you've got them, you just pop them back in the bag. But it's nice and light. None of it's heavy. It's all just nice. And all the stuff on the floor is everything you don't need anymore. All the things that are just memories, or all the baggage that you don't need to take with you. So you slowly start to push it all off the cliff edge. Start to push it, everything you don't need to take with you, all them negative feelings, all the past hurts, just everything. You start to kick it off that cliff. Push it with a brush, whatever you need to do just to get rid of it off that cliff. And you notice as it falls, it all starts to disintegrate. By the end, by the bottom of the cliff, it's vanished. So you keep pushing everything off that cliff until all you're left with is your backpack full of crystals and your gorgeous meadow. So just take a second and clear up anything you need to clear. And just watch it all fall off and disappear. And then once you're done, just take a deep breath in and ask your guides and angels, what's the main lesson you need to take forward today? And just trust the answer that pops in your head. So what is the main lesson you need to take forward today? Go with your gut, wherever you hear, wherever you feel. If you don't get anything, don't worry. It might come in a day or two. But when you're done, just grab your backpack and start walking back down that mountain. Notice how everything feels now. Does it feel lighter? Does everything feel brighter, happier? More birds singing? What's happening as you're skipping down that mountain now? Like excited for this next journey. And as you're skipping down that mountain, you start to get to the bottom, and the brightest sun is shining on you. And you just know everything is going to be amazing going forward. You've got your lessons and none of the baggage. And then take another deep breath in. And then when you're ready, start to open your eyes, wiggle your toes and your hands, and slowly come back to the room. And let me know in the comments how that was for you. Did you get anything come through? Did your guides give you a message? Did you feel everything emptying out and breaking away nicely? You might just be feeling nice and calm and zen. You might just have chilled out completely. Just let me know. So whatever you're feeling, just pop it in the comments. And we'll see if that worked for you. And it just shows how good this card was for tonight. Clear out the old. I couldn't believe it when that come, and I knew what meditation I was going to do. Yeah, it's just perfect for that. And as well, I love on this card, there's like a bit of a, I don't know whether you can see there, but it's like a keyhole. And through the keyhole, the moon looks like it does tonight, like that real, like waning, well, it's a waxing moon, and it's, you know, just this slight crescent. And yeah, definitely, it's all linked. So definitely chilled, good. Oh, Val, glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, Laura says she tends to get answers when she least expect it. And that's the thing. Now this has opened you up, what that will do is your answer might come very, random. So you might go on to Instagram and see a post, and it might just link to what you've been thinking about. Or it could be something where you read an article and you're like, that's my answer. And it can come in the strangest ways. So if you didn't get it tonight, don't worry about that. The guides gave me a message that I shouldn't be holding on to the things that don't serve me and calm me at the same time. Oh, that's lovely, Oswald. And so good that you got that message, because we're all guilty of that. We all hold on to things that don't serve us, and even I do that. And you've got to remember that, clear that all out, and, you have the choice to let that go. So I hope you've all enjoyed tonight and got something out of it. What I'm doing at the end of the week, I'm going to be giving away some prizes. So obviously I'm going to be launching my program as of I'll give you all the details of that on Thursday and Friday. But what I'm going to be doing is giving away a scholarship for the program, and I'm also going to be giving away a breakthrough coaching session with myself. So if you've already booked one at the introductory rate, don't panic. I will give you the money back if you do win. But how you get to win that is I'm going to be putting a post on to say what the homework is for tonight. Now, it's not really homework. You've all done it in this session, really. So the main thing is the intention you want to get out of the week. So I'm going to ask you what that is. And also the thing you want to let go of. So you don't have to get specific and put like it was some sort of trauma or anything like that. You don't have to go into details unless you want to, because this is a safe group. I want to share that with you. Everything you put in here, it's a private group. It's only people who are taking part in this or are part of the group anyway. So it is a safe, comfortable space. But I want to know what you're going to let go of and move forward with. So that thing that keeps you stuck, so whether it's a recurring pattern of not feeling good enough, or you keep putting others first, whatever that is for you, what are you going to let go of after tonight's session? So I will put a post in for the homework, and if you do all 5 nights homework, I hate the word homework, but you know what I mean. So if you do all 5 nights, you go into the prize draw to win either a scholarship to the programme, which is going to be amazing, or you can win a breakthrough coaching session with me. And we'll do coaching with cards, we do another energy healing like we've just done there, but more powerful for you, and they're really transformational. So that's what I'll be sharing with you all. So Kath, you got a message to keep strong following a day of doubting a big decision I made. I needed that. Don't doubt it. If you needed to make that decision, don't doubt it. I know I had plenty of doubts when I changed things in my marriage, and even to the point where, you know, sometimes you doubt, do you make the right decision? And I'm not saying it's linked to something like that, but I'm just saying for me personally, I had loads of doubts in my situation, but they don't help you, because at the end of the day, your doubts are only based on guilt for someone else or putting someone else before you. If you needed to make a decision, you made it for you. So good on you if that's the case. Because often our decisions, when we feel the doubt or we feel like, are we sure, are we not? It's because we're putting everybody else before us. We're thinking of what we should have done, what we could have done. It's never about us and what we want. Once we've made that decision, that's about us and what we want. So I hope you can take that. Glad you enjoyed it, Rachel. Laura. I'm going mental. All right, so that's all we've got time for tonight, but tomorrow I'm going to be doing more on how we tap into our own abilities to get answers for ourselves, but also how we connect a bit more with the guides so that we can ask for signs which will give you comfort, which will know that you're on the right track, and how to tailor that. So it's going to be a really good session. So hopefully see you all tomorrow. And if you're watching the replay, just pop a comment in to say it's the replay and anything that you got out of the session, and that'll be fab. And I will speak to you all tomorrow. Thanks again for joining. It's been great. See ya. Bye.